One of the biggest hurdles when it came to going out there and making friends from scratch was social anxiety. It looked like sitting in the car right before I arrived to a young adult group, in my case, shaken and just nervous out of my mind, having these thoughts like, what if people think you're weird? What if you stumble over your words? What if people don't really want to talk to you? And what if you find yourself standing in the corner alone, not talking to anyone? Well, these are the types of things that I would use to convince myself that I shouldn't go out there and try to make friends from scratch. 9 years removed from the start of my journey of learning how to make friends from scratch, there are 3 things that I realized that helped me overcome this social anxiety. And number 1 is this. There is no magic pill when it comes to overcoming your fear. If I boil it down to something simple, it's simply a fear of failure. Or maybe we could just boil it down even more. It's just fear. Fear is the thing that kept me from not doing the thing that I know I should do in order to get better at the things that I wanted to get better at. And in this case, or in that case, back then, it was making friends and honing my people skills. There came to a point where I realized there's no way around it. There's no way around doing the things that I know that I had to do. And that was going out there and making friends. There's no magic pill. I just had to do it. The second thing that I realized was this. Basically, there's this quote by Vin Jang, a communications teacher, that really made me reframe how I think of fear. And it's this. In order to get rid of the fear of failure, you need to create a backlog in your mind of evidence proving to yourself that the thing that you're afraid of doing isn't anything to be afraid of at all. So in other words, doing the exact thing that you're afraid of over and over and over and over again until you realize that, you know what, this thing is not scary at all. I realized when I went out and made friends, despite how scary it felt, I realized that at the end of the day, it is really nothing to be afraid of at all. Create that backlog. You really need to create that backlog of evidence in your mind, proving to yourself that the thing that you're afraid of is really nothing to be afraid of at all. Or in other words, keep doing the thing that you're afraid of, and you'll realize that thing isn't scary at all. Look at that. Ala Moana Center Stage. It's a beautiful day today. Now, the third thing that I realized that helped me overcome my social anxiety was this. I had to prove myself wrong. And now, what do I mean by that? I think a really good example is a story of this one time that I went over to, I was actually on a trip to Japan. So I was on this trip to Japan, and one of my Japanese friends, Taisei, had invited me, my friend, and my brother over to their house to have some dinner. If you know me, I love food. I absolutely love food. So just the thought of having an authentic Japanese homemade dinner, count me in. So when we got there, we found ourselves there, sitting down at the dining table. It was all set up, and it was kind of weird because we weren't eating, even though the food was ready. We're like, okay, guys, what are we waiting for? What our friend said is, oh yeah, we're waiting for our dad. Waiting for my dad so that we can all eat together. I have no idea why we thought this. When we imagined our friend Taisei's dad, for some reason, all 3 of us, independently of each other, thought of this mean, angry type of guy. Then the time finally came. Ding dong, knock, knock, knock on the door. The moment finally came, and he walked in the door, went directly to the room. I saw a glimpse of the businessman suit. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I don't know what's about to happen. You about to throw down or something? But when he walked out of the room, our image of him was absolutely shattered. And what did we see when he walked into the room? He was a guy wearing just sweatpants and a t-shirt, loungewear basically how any one of us would dress at home. I actually think it's kind of funny. He just like just seeing him dressed up in like just regular clothes, I realized in that moment that he was just a normal guy. Now, the reason why I tell you this story is because I think social anxiety can attack us in a similar way. I honestly think that, at least for me personally, that I conjured up these images in my mind. I had these thoughts in my mind telling myself that I could not go into those situations because I'm gonna stumble over my words. People are gonna think that I'm weird because if I mess up or don't do the right body language thing, that no one's gonna wanna be my friend. These are the types of things that I was telling myself and convinced me to not go out there and make friends. And that's exactly what I mean when I say you have to prove yourself wrong. If you're afraid and you're nervous to do X, Y, Z, then prove yourself wrong. If you're afraid of going out there and making friends, prove yourself wrong. Prove those thoughts wrong. If you really think that you're gonna stumble over your words and no one's gonna wanna be your friend, prove those thoughts wrong. And I can guarantee you, just like the story of my friend Taisei's dad, that those things that you're afraid of, nothing to be afraid of in the first place. If this is you, if you could relate to literally any part of this video, any of the things that I talk about, I just want to tell you, you can do it. I know that you can do it. I believe that you can do it. I was literally in your shoes before.